Hey guys, in this lecture, I'm going to cover the basic theoretical fundamentals for project schedule management. So what is project schedule management? Project schedule management includes the processes required to manage the timely completion of a project. All right. Project schedule management consists of 6 processes. And just to open a bracket here, the knowledge in this slide comes from a book called PMBOK 6, which at the time of recording is a little bit outdated, but I think it's still valid in 2024, even though PMI is shifting away from the knowledge management approach to project management. If you can get your hands on that book, please get a copy. It's chapter 6. It's called Project Schedule Management. It's about 50 pages. This is if you want to go deep. If you don't have the time to go deep, I have tried to super compress the knowledge in those 50 pages into a single slide. Hopefully that would be enough. However, there is no excuse not to be perfectly comfortable with the theory behind project schedule management. This is one of the core knowledge areas for a project manager. Every time you mention the term project manager, people immediately think about Gantt charts, time, and one of the most frequent reasons for project failure is actually missing the deadline. So basically improper schedule management. Right, that being said, let's have a look at what are those processes. So the first one is plan schedule management. Before you go anywhere, you need to have a process of establishing the policies, procedures, and documentations for planning, developing, managing, executing, and controlling the project schedule. As usual, before you do something, you have to plan it. This is normally one-off process. Basically, before every project, before the start of a project, you sit down and say, how am I going to manage the schedule on that particular project? Am I going to use a tool? Am I going to use a Gantt chart? Is it going to be reported on weekly basis? Is it going to be controlled through the weekly status updates and so on and so forth? The next process is define activities. So you have a scope and you have a bunch of activities. You have to sit down and through decomposition or breakdown, don't worry if you don't know what that means, we're going to cover that in the lectures, in the upcoming lectures, but you have to create the work breakdown structure and to define the activities. And it says the process of identifying and documenting the specific actions to be performed to produce the project deliverables. Then you have to sequence those activities. Basically, not everything can happen in parallel because you have resource constraints. So you have to determine which activity follows which activity, the dependency. Estimate activity durations. You have to determine how long each activity takes to arrive at the full duration of the project. You have to develop the schedule. Once you have that information, you are now in a position to load this information into a tool and start creating the schedule. And last but not least, you have to control the schedule. Once you create the schedule model, you have to update that depending on the complexity of the project from daily to weekly to monthly, depending on how complex it is and what are the specific requirements. But you have to stay on top of that. You have to make sure that you are moving against the schedule. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you will fall off the schedule and the project will normally end up late and you're going to disappoint your stakeholders. So these are the main 6 processes that you have to master to do schedule management.